Welcome back to the 5th episode of making chess in Godot. Before we start this video, I need to show you a mistake I made in the previous video. Here I accidentally put two vectors which are the same. So this, instead of being -1 and 2, needs to be 1 and -2. And we're gonna jump right in and create 6 variables. So first it will be white underscore king, which will be false, and now it's gonna be black, which will be false. Now it will be white underscore rook. I'm gonna copy this entire place and paste it 4 times, and 2 will name it black, and one of them will be left equals false. Copy this, underscore right underscore left underscore right. So we have 6 variables which will show us if the piece have moved. So basically, if white king moved, this will turn into true. If black king moved, that means that it's true, and so on. And now we will go to our move piece function, and here in our match we will place 2 more, which will be 6 and -6. So if our king has moved, and here we will do an if statement, is selected piece.x equals to 0 and selected underscore piece.y equals to 4. So now this basically means that we have moved our white king from the first position, and here we will set white underscore king to true, meaning that our king has moved. Here, if I.y equals to 2, that means that our king moved 2 squares, because 4 minus 2, that means that the king castled to the left. So if he castled, that means that we can set white underscore rook underscore left to true. We can copy this. Instead of left, it's gonna be right. And now here, board in brackets 0 and 0, that is the position of the left rook. It's gonna be 0 now, and board 0 and 3, it's gonna be 2, 4 now. So basically what this means is we are setting the rook position to 0, but we are setting the rook to a new position, which is this. And now we do the same, but basically elif, which will be I.y equals to 6. That means that our white king is castling to the right, so we just copy these 2 things, since after this this will not be able to happen again. And now here we copy this, and here instead of 0, 0, it will be 0, 7, and here it will be 0, 5, since it is a different place for our rook to move. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this entire thing and just paste it our -6. The only thing that changes now is from our 0, it becomes 7 in our selected piece.x, since it's at the top rank of the board. So this will become 7, and here instead of white, we can select all white and turn it into black. Now this turns into 7, as well as this, as well as this, as well as this. And now instead of 4, it will be -4, since this is a black piece, so we need to have a black rook instead of white one. So this is it. Now in above this, we will create a 4 and -4, since this, if there is a rook move, that means that we need to set our white rook, depending on the side, to true, since it will not, if the rook moved, it cannot castle again. So here, if selected underscore piece dot x equals 0 and selected dot y equals to 0, that means that white underscore rook underscore left is equal to true, because the piece moving from 0, 0 will be a white rook. Copy this, turn it into elif to save some memory, and instead of 0, 0, it will be 0, 7. And instead of being left, it will be right. Now I simply can just copy this, paste it here, and instead of being x being 0, it will be 7. And instead of white, it will be black. And we are done with this as well now. And for castling to work, we need to go to our get king moves. And here, after all moves, we can place two if statements. So first, if it is white's turn and isn't white underscore king, that means that we can move further because it's white's turn and the white king hasn't moved yet. Now here, if isn't a white underscore rook underscore left, and now we're going to use our made is empty function. Here we need to check if the places between the rooks and the king is underscore empty. Here we are going to pick vector 2, which will be 0 and 1. Now we just copy, paste, and here it will be a 2. And we copy and paste one more time, which will be 0 and 3. Underscore moves dot append, which will be a vector 2, which will be a 0 and 2. Now another thing, we will just copy this entire thing, paste it, and here it will be another if statement instead of elif. Here it will be instead of left, it will be right. And here we can remove another empty because there's only two places it can be, and this will be a 5, this will be a 6, and this we set to a 6. So this is done. And now we just copy this entire thing, and here we do we just paste it, and instead of if it will be elif, and this will be false because we are now checking for black pieces, and this will be a black king. And here we set both white to black, and now we set all instead of O to be a 7, so 7 at the top. So this should be good to go, and let's check. Here we will try to castle. As you can see, it's possible, and if I do this, you can see that it works. And now as you can see, I cannot castle here since I moved my king. Awesome, so everything works. Now we will go to our variable section up here, and here create a new variable called n underscore passant, which will be null. And now we will go to our set underscore move, and here at the top create a new variable called just underscore now. It will be equal to false. I will explain in a second. Now we will go to our match once again, and here at the one if we move our pawn, and here we check if I.x equals to 3 and selected underscore piece dot x equals to 1. This means that the move was at 2 square, the first pawn move, and here if it was, then we will set en passant to be equal to I. Basically we are capturing on this variable we are capturing the pawn which moved 2 squares, and now here we set just now to true, and now here elif n underscore passant isn't equal to null, and here we will do if n underscore passant dot y equals to I dot y. This basically means that our previously made 2 square pawn move dot y, so it's in the same column as our move we are about to make, and selected underscore piece dot y isn't equal to I dot y. This basically checks that our piece is not just moving up and is actually capturing something. Here we actually need to check if on underscore passant dot x is equal to selected piece dot x. Basically that they're in the same place and it's actually the en passant is happening. And now here if this is true, board dot n underscore passant dot x and on underscore passant dot y is equal to 0 since the thing was captured. And now we just copy these, put it in -1, and here instead of being 3, it will be a 4. This being a 1, it will be a 6, and everything else stays the same. And now here, after our match statement, here we will just place if isn't just now. That means that n passant equals to null. What this basically does, that if the previous move, even though it was a 2 square pawn move, now the en passant didn't happen, that means that we are just setting en passant to null. And now here we go to get underscore pawn underscore moves. And here, after let's say our first move, if statement, we can do if passant isn't null. And here, now here, if it is white's move and selected piece dot x equals to 4. This is the only rank that white's pawns can do en passant. And here, or it is not white, and just copy this, place it here, and instead of 4, it will be a 3. Now we close the brackets, and here we now need to check in abs if an underscore passant dot y minus selected underscore piece dot y is equal to 1. What this basically means is we check if our 2 square pawn move is only 1 square from the pawn we are going to move now. We don't want the pawn to attack from, let's say, 7 squares from the side. And now here, if this is true, we just do underscore moves dot append, and here it will be on underscore passant plus direction, since we are just taking our en passant position and adding 1 square, since it is capturing diagonal. Now here, if I start the game, we can see if this works. So I'm gonna do some random moves, and now let's see if I do this. You can see that there's this move which appears, and now if I do, you can see that the pawn disappears since we did en passant. Hope this was useful. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.